2020 will go down in history as the year where everything that could go wrong went wrong.
The subject that has dominated the news all week.
Global hot zones, the coronavirus spreading.
Fears grow of a global pandemic.
A huge spike in cases in Italy.
Crude prices down more than 22% earlier today, the biggest loss since the launch of the Gulf War.
The Saudis have launched an oil price war.
Markets are getting punched in the face.
A decent bottle of wine is now more expensive than a barrel of oil, which, as a consumer, you might think isn't so bad. I mean, cheaper fuel. Trump seems to think it's good.
Good for the consumer, gasoline prices coming down.
So here's my question. What's the point of cheap fuel when you can't drive or fly anywhere because of an epidemic, because of quarantine?
Airlines are clearly not going to stock up on kerosene. All sorts of derivatives, fuel derivatives, will experience less demand as traveling goes down. That is going to be one of the factors that will likely keep the oil price depressed.
Now you are starting to get why the whole world, is facing catastrophe. It isn't just one problem, it's many, and they feed each other. They multiply each other. First, the airlines suffer. Fuel's cheap, but no one's flying anywhere. No one travels. Tourism collapses, meaning millions of people lose income. If millions stop making money, they stop buying stuff. So the factories shut down, meaning more people lose jobs, and so on.
Of course, we have the impact of the crisis, which has been sparkled by the coronavirus spreading around Europe. Italy, we've just seen it. And then, of course, this situation with oil, which is a bit complicated. And so far, I've never seen anything like this. It has impacted on the market, adding even more pressures to it. And we have seen what the outcome is.
Now we get to the crux of it. Let's take a little trip back to 2008. Here's a graph showing the US debt market in 2008. $2 trillion. It collapsed because bankers, high on greed, gave out loans to people to buy houses that they couldn't afford. We hoped at least that they had learned their lesson. Watch what they did next. Since then, they've loaned out 3.5 times as much. The US shale industry is there, now selling oil cheaper than it cost them to produce. The airlines with no passengers, the hotels with no guests, the businesses with no clients. In 2008, the world's economy collapsed because a bunch of people missed their house payments. Now, entire industries are on the verge of falling like dominoes.
We have had the worst drop in oil price since the early 90s, and the stock market tumbling everywhere. Even the Dow Jones have really posted the worst one-day drop ever.
There's no point in panicking. Governments still have tools to delay a meltdown, tax cuts, debt relief, but they'll only work for a while. And after that, well, there'll be no point in panicking because it'll be too late.